John, you touched, when I talked about automation, you talked about a little bit about automation too, right? So, and you talked something about policy-based automation?
Automation.
PBA, yeah. So, tell me a little bit more. What does it do? I'm the customer, right? I told you what my problem is. How are you going to help solve that?
So a couple things, Rad. So be careful. If I start talking about PBA, I'm going to talk for hours. But I heard you mention a few things over and over. Simplicity, automation, security. PBA can solve those three things for you. And let me tell you a little bit about it. So how does PBA work? When you connect a device to your switch, what do we do? What do our switches do? Well, we learn as much about that device as we can, as much as possible. And we apply that to any policies that were previously created. So a network administrator will create a policy for his network that is targeted at a certain type of device. And he can create one or more policies. So what do? We automatically learn about the devices connected, automatically see if that matches one of the policies, and we will automatically enforce that policy, which means we will automatically configure the switch. So there's the automation. Automatically configure the switch and automatically configure that port where the device was just detected, not the other ports. So that's kind of cool, right? This automation, this automated configuration, right? So showing this to a customer is great. You look at the configuration and it's empty. You plug in a device, you look at the configuration again, and voila, all this configuration is automatically applied. So it's a great demo to give.
Wait, that sounds pretty good. Let me understand this, right? So
sure.
Typically, if I go to a wiring closet in an enterprise setting or in any network, you see all these sort of the ports are color coded. You know, hey, these ports are for Wi-Fi access points, these are for printers, these are for user devices.
That's right.
Now, what you're telling me here is I don't need to do this color coding anymore. Is that correct?
So I'm talking about automation, right? You plug in a device, the switch automatically configures itself, right? Well, how did you do that in the past? Well, in the past, what people would do is they would hard code their ports on their switches. Ports 1 through 4 would be hard coded for Wi-Fi access points. Ports 5 through 8 might be hard coded for video surveillance cameras. Yes, you're correct. You no longer have to do that. A port is a port is a port. You plug your device into any port you want, and it gets automatically configured as a result of PBA. And this auto configuration is fun to talk about, right? And it's fun to demo. But what's even more important is what happens when you remove that device from the switch. Well, we automatically clean up any configuration that is associated to that device. So if you have VLANs open on that port, maybe sensitive VLANs on sensitive networks like your financial network, well, when you unplug that device that is approved for those networks, we will automatically clean up that configuration and remove those VLANs in that example. So very, very secure with PBA. So let's move to...
No, wait, before you move, right?
Sure.
I'm still a little trying to understand the scope.
It's okay, it's okay. Keep going.
So I get it, right? I mean, if for example, if it's a Cambium access point connecting to a cnMatrix switch, I kind of profile that device and configure that port.
Yep.
But look, there is a plethora of devices in my network.
Yeah.
Right? From a lot of different vendors, a lot of different makes of video camera, for example. Yeah, how does it translate to that world of like the wild, wild west sort of in terms of device types out there?
So how many devices are there out there? 3, 4, 5,000 devices? So PBA is not restricted to this device type or this device type. PBA enables you to develop policies for any type of device you want.
So so I, as the end user, I create my own policy for the device.
That's right. So you as the network administrator, you know what devices are allowed on your network and that you're going to be plugging into your network, and you can develop policies for those devices. But what about rogue devices? You can also...
Wait, do I need to be like a massive programmer to create these policies? I mean, I don't know your switch that well, right?
Yeah, give it a try. In 1 minute, you could configure a policy on our switch.
Okay.
No problem at all.
That's pretty cool.
You can create a policy for these device types. You can also create a policy for any type of rogue device. You may not want some devices or devices that you're not aware of on your network. So it's a very secure feature and very secure functionality.
So does it also translate to, for example, right? We have a segmentation policy for the network, right?
Yep.
I may have a building infrastructure VLAN where all my video cameras, my HVAC systems all going there.
Yep.
And I have my financial systems on the corporate VLAN, for example.
That's right.
Now a new device joins, and I can actually make a decision to say where this network should be, where this device should be.
Yep.
And
it's
automatically configure the port, and it shows up on that network that way?
It's all a part of the policy. If you have a network with 200 video surveillance cameras, when you plug that video surveillance camera in, there's no manual configuration. There's no chance for making a human error. Because of PBA, that policy that matches that video surveillance camera will be automatically applied, automatically enforced, and that port will automatically be put onto the right segment or VLAN. So that device will be segmented as desired.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So you get segmentation, you get auto device profiling, you get the policy dynamically applied to that based on the device type.
Right.
And wow,
Brad,
lots of capabilities here.
We're only scratching the surface. There's all kinds of configuration that could be related to these devices, right? You have security-related configuration. You have QoS-related configuration. Simple things like just naming that device. So you plug a printer into port 5. You want to label port 5 as having a printer plugged into it. You can do that with other switches in the industry today, but manually. You have to manually enter that label for that port. With PBA, it gets automatically applied. Everything is automated, and as I mentioned before, when you unplug that device, everything is automatically cleaned up. So simplicity is the key here, right? All your adds, moves, and changes require zero interaction, zero manual configuration. You plug in the device, you unplug the device, everything is zero touch.